Hi everyone. Oh, hold on here. Hi everyone. Welcome to I don't know if these people hate cinema. I don't know if that's the right hold on here. Let me put the volume up just a little bit so I could hear myself just a little bit better. Is that it? Is that it right there? Hold on. Let's just go with that. Yeah, let's just go with that. Let me know in the chat how the volume is coming through, if I need to be louder or anything. Oh, geez, sorry guys. Just got off work. My body is not exactly as limber as I would like it to be, but I will persevere. So, um, it is Dia de los Muertos, um, which, as you guys know, is not really. I wouldn't go so far as to call it Mexican Halloween because it's very different, and also, I think I mean, I haven't done Halloween in Mexico, but I'm pretty sure that they just do Halloween in Mexico now on Halloween. Um, but yeah, Dia de los Muertos, that is a day in Mexican culture where usually people visit the graves of their dead ancestors. That's why it's called Day of the Dead, and pay respects. Usually leave some of their favorite things with them to remember them and celebrate them and stuff like that. And I'll be real with you guys. I've never actually been to a Dia de los Muertos, like an actual Dia de los Muertos. I never actually been. Always wanted to. Lindsay and I are trying to figure out a trip next year out to Mexico, a big one. So maybe I'll do it then. But yeah, instead of that, I celebrated this whole month of October by watching primarily Mexican horror movies, or at least movies made by Mexican directors. I had other plans for things. I did do the PP Little video, the debate. Go watch it if you haven't. I'm really proud of it. Thanks again for all the guys at the initiative for helping out with that one. I did do that. I wasn't able to do the Death Grips video. Um, frankly, like, this whole month has been primarily taken up with the PP Little video and watching the Mexican horror movies, and I'm not complaining. Like, that was fun. That was a fun month, but that did take up a lot of time that I probably would have used to get those other projects out. And also, I did stop doing the Romero watch alongs. I stopped at Dawn of the Dead just because, like, I don't know, like, I don't think it was doing as well as I thought it would. And it's just like, it's fine when it's like a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Hey Jeremy, how you doing, man? Like, it's fine when you can actually show the movie on screen, but I couldn't do that with Dawn of the Dead, and I just felt a little bit awkward. So I did stop doing that. I might bring that back at some point, but other than that, I did do what I really wanted to do for the month of October, which is to watch a wide swath of movies made by Mexican directors. Let's just say it like that, right? Um, just because, like, I wanted to celebrate, my culture, my heritage. I've been doing that all year, but October and spooky season is my favorite time of year, so I figured I'm gonna go ahead and just combine the two. And it's been fun. It's been really fun. And we're gonna start off today's stream by ranking all the movies I saw as part of Mes de Terror. So let's go ahead and get that on screen right now. We're gonna do this really fast, and then after that, we're gonna go ahead and continue watching Latino Slant's coverage of the taco debate, which was a lot of fun. And so I was going to come back to that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do the tier list. Now, the tier list I broke down to just three basic categories because when I think about all the stuff I saw, they all kind of fit within these three categories. And that is cinema. In other words, this is top tier shit. Absolutely recommend, must watch. Then there is película, which is just a term for movie, and it's like, it's a movie. It's fun. And then there's Univision, and these are the kinds of movies that are primarily I would have watched like on a Saturday afternoon on Univision. These are kind of fun B movies, not necessarily the deepest stuff, but definitely a lot of fun. And on top of doing the movies that I covered and the TV shows that I covered for Mes de Terror, I'm also going to be talking about a couple of the Carlos Enrique Tawada movies, because yeah, like, I'm just a big fan of him. I did want to do Hasta el Viento Tiene Miedo, Even the Wind is Afraid, but I ran out of time for it, trying to get the last season of Los Spookies in on time. But you know, I do want to include his work, so I'm going to talk about some of his movies here and rank them along with everyone else. So let's go ahead and just kind of start at the beginning here, which I believe the very first thing that I reviewed was Los Spookies. This is the HBO show, and I am talking about season 1 here. I'm going to be talking about season 2 later. And Los Spookies, it's a lot of like I really like Los Spookies because it's not necessarily like a scary show. It's a show that's about horror, right? It's a show that's about what horror means to people who, like me, uh, kind of have a genuine love and affection for the genre and stuff like that. And I think this show really just helps encapsulate the sort of positive effects of consuming horror media, in which you see a lot of people really benefit from that. And I think there's something about Mexican culture, like there's so many ghosts and el cucuy, like boogeyman and stuff like that, that are just kind of part of Mexican culture, that just makes me believe that we're just sort of in tuned with like the horror vibes and the horror aesthetics. I mean, look at how we celebrate the dead, right? We get dressed up like skeletons and hang out in cemeteries. And that to me, I think that says something about Mexicans, that um we're not like afraid of the dark, if that makes any sense. And I don't know. I don't know if it does make sense to people who aren't Mexican, but like it's just like being like aware and afraid of like things in the dark. It's just kind of part of growing up. At least part of me growing up, um La Llorona, which we'll talk about later, but like all that sort of stuff, it helped sort of set me on a path that made me more receptive to like slasher movies and the horror genre in general. But like a lot of that was just sort of the intrigue and the sort of mystery of a lot of Mexican folklore, and how that and Mexican culture too, and how that just informed everything. And like even now, as with my nieces and nephews, they love spooky shit, especially my niece Jazzy. She's already got like her punk rock like boots, and she loves like Vampirina, and she's crazy for Wednesday Addams. Like she was obsessed with Wednesday Addams for a while. So I just think there's something about being Mexican that just tunes you to loving horror as a genre, as aesthetics, as everything. And I think Los Spookies, because it is a Mexican production, really just sort of captures that love and that fascination in a way that I just don't really see in a lot of other media. And I mean, not just that, but like the first season is just so like goofy, just pure goofy fun. Um, but like for me, considering like if considering some of the other stuff that I've seen this month, I don't feel comfortable putting Los Spooky season 1 in the cinema category. And even though it's TV, like I don't want to just group it with like Univision, because like I think the show has a little something extra to offer people, especially horror fans, and just um the spooks. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it right in the middle here in the película section, and that's what we're gonna leave Los Spooky season 1. Yeah, it's like I said in my review of season 2. Like, yeah, well, you know what? I'll get there when I get there. Season 1 is awesome. So let's go on to the next one here. Vacaciones de Terror. And this is the first Vacaciones de Terror. And this is the director of Don't Panic, and also the director of where do we go here? Where was it? Grave Robbers. Yeah. I forgot his name, but I really like this guy's style. He's a huge fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, and you can totally see some of that love for that series and that film in particular, with the way that like he really uses this movie as a way to like play with special effects and practical effects to just create these fun set piece scares and stuff like that. I think the biggest like Achilles heel of Vacaciones de Terror is that it doesn't look like a movie. It looks like the horror themed special of a TV show, and that's a bummer to me, because like so much genuine love and admiration for what horror as a film genre specifically can do, especially like the 80s horror, which was so effects heavy and so high concept and stuff like that. I gotta stop saying that, dude. I gotta stop saying that. I annoy myself when I say that. I'm sorry. But yeah, like this movie, it's kind of like the most basic one that I saw throughout the entire month, in my opinion. And a lot of that is just because it has all the set dressing of horror, but it just doesn't capture that horror vibe. How that being said, it's still a lot of fun to watch. I mean, this is just the stuff that like fun B horror movies are made of, and that's just like very like accessible, very easy to watch, and it's just like one series of really fun set pieces that is just kind of there to like entertain you. And I think as far as that goes, Vacaciones de Terror does a pretty good job of it. In comparison to everything else that I saw this month, including other like fun little B horror movies, it just like it just doesn't have any as much like memorable aspects to it outside of some of the special effects sequences. So for this one, I'm gonna very comfortably put this in the lowest tier here, which is the Univision tier. I'm just gonna go ahead and crop that up till it fits. It's just so tiny. Okay, I hope this works. I hope everybody can make this out. So let's move on here to the next movie on our list, and that's actually going to be the sequel, Vacaciones de Terror 2. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put that there. Vacaciones de Terror 2 was a big step up, and not just in the special effects, but I really just think that this has better scares. It's more tense. I really like, for me, but the best thing that I could like say about this is that it manages to make a really damn good horror set piece out of a giant cake. I think any movie that just like takes cake and makes it tense and all that shit, like I feel like that deserves respect, in my opinion. I feel like that deserves to be considered a step up, because also like it's just a step up in every way from the first Vacaciones de Terror. I also mentioned that like there's got some meta elements that also just kind of is fun in that sort of wink wink nudge nudge way, if you know anything about the actors involved and stuff. So yeah, and also like I really love this little goblin character. And again, Mexican horror filmmakers are just so ready and willing to put their actors in genuinely frightening scenarios. It's dangerous and it's wild and it's entertaining as fuck to watch. So I'm gonna actually elevate this one above Univision and just put it in the película category or middle tier, just because like you know what, it's a solid watch. It's a better movie than the first one, so would it be fair to put it like equal? And like there again, if you just want to see a piece of cake used to like thrill you twice in two different ways, it's watch it. It's interesting what they do here. That's the fun of low budget filmmaking, and especially low budget B genre movie filmmaking, is that you got to think quick on your feet and you got to come up with these ideas, and it leads to like really awesome creative moments like that, you know? Um and yeah, so that's Vacaciones de Terror 1 and 2 and Los Spooky Season 1. Let's move on to Guillermo del Toro's The Devil's Backbone. Yeah, this movie like you know it really surprised me. I went into it like knowing basically nothing, and not even knowing that it was like a sister film to Pan's Labyrinth. And all throughout, well, like I kept getting that Pan's Labyrinth vibe, which really made it like enjoyable. And like I haven't gone back and watched Pan's Labyrinth, but I think like being aware of both of those movies at the same time, it helps like elevate both of them. um, I really think Devil's Backbone. Geez, see, I hesitate to say that it's like the most like thematically rich and stuff, because it's not. But I think what this movie does more than all the other movies that I saw this month or on October for Mes de Terror is it's just like the character work. The character work in this is some of the best Guillermo del Toro has ever done. The best like thing that I remember from watching this movie was just like how constant and consistent all the surprises were. Uh all the way to the third act, all the way to the very end. There's still layers and layers of characters left to unfold. And that ending is just I think I cut out a lot of my discussion about the ending of this movie in the final video, but it's hard not to get caught up in the moment of the excitement of that climactic scene, even though there's a lot of tragedy before it and a lot of uncertainty after it. Like that was fun, like especially because this is such um adult movie, right? It's about war and it's about tragedy and fatal flaws that kill you in the end, quite literally. And for all that, the fact that like it still manages to thrill you and excite you without ever betraying its tone, like that's what good directors do. And Guillermo del Toro is just, it's Guillermo del fucking Toro. So, Devil's Backbone. This is not. I'm not even gonna think twice about this. This is cinema. This is just some of the top tier shit that I saw this month. Absolute. If you haven't seen Devil's Backbone, definitely check it out. I got the Criterion a while ago. I think actually earlier this year, and I just got around to watching it, and I'm really glad that I did. Devil's Backbone is top. Yeah, hey, what's up, Troy? How you doing, man? Yeah, no, Devil's Backbone is definitely top notch for this month. And speaking of top notch, I want to talk about The Faculty. Now, The Faculty, dude, this is like such a comfort movie for me. This was like my go-to back in the day, back when I was like a young fledgling horror fanatic. This was the movie that I would always go back to. Like, I don't know if I ever talked about this, but when I was in my little like small town and stuff, there was this one uh it was like a convenience store slash like it was like they sold like beer there and all that shit, right? And they also had like a big rental section. And the guy there, like he kind of quickly figured out that I'm not just like like a kid. Like I genuinely fucking like loved cinema. And it would be cool because like I would pick out movies, they'd be like, oh wow, like nobody's checked this movie out in a while and shit. And we sit and talk about it. So he would let me get away with renting some stuff. Like he would turn a blind eye to a lot of shit. Let's put it that way. And like it was through him that I got to see like Friday the 13th, Halloween, all that shit back in the day. But The Faculty, I remember like for a while this was my go-to. And then when I got older and I watched The Thing, like my mind was blown. I was like, oh shit. And dude, the fact like I haven't seen this movie in so long, but what it's one of those things when you're really nostalgic for something, there's a part of you that's afraid to go back to it because like it might not hold up. And I've been kind of doing that with The Faculty for a while. So I was really glad that when I popped it in, not only did it totally hold up, but like as an adult with like an adult mindset, it hits totally different, and I was able to appreciate totally different sides to it. And like this is great pop filmmaking. I think this is some of Robert Rodriguez's best work. I think it's up there with like Sin City in my opinion, but like I think this is way more like in his directorial voice. And I really feel like he got to flex his muscles here, not just with like horror, but like with action. And he got really good performances out of all the actors. Stokely, ever since I was a kid, was like such a memorable character. And you know what? One of the things that I really appreciated this time around was that like how not stereotypical, like all the characters. I really like how the drug dealer was like was like really good at science, right? The goth girl like just kind of like wanted to scare people but was like really soft inside. All this shit, right? Like they all had like it was such a commentary on individualism. And no wonder I love this movie when I was a kid, because like that was like when you're like an outcast, and especially like in a town, like a really conservative town and shit, stories about identity and individuality, like they really stick out to you and they really mean something. Because yeah, like Elijah Wood too. Like I always super like related to him and shit. So yeah, again, watching it again for the first time in God knows how long, I was so happy just that it held up, period, to begin with, just on one level. On the second level, like I really enjoyed how much more there was to like to discover, with so many years and shit. And also like it's just good fucking filmmaking. It's good horror. It's a good fucking movie. I don't even know how else to describe it. There's a part of me that wants to put this in the middle, but honestly, like the more that I think about it, no, this is cinema level. This is gonna be my hot take here. All right, not just because I think it's good ass fucking filmmaking and it's a good ass fucking movie, but yeah, the nostalgia factor. Screw it. Why not? Everybody else is doing it, so why not me? Yeah, so we got two more movies here. All right, so we got Jairo Bustamante's La Llorona. This is the most modern movie that I've seen for this last month. And God, La Llorona, this is a heavy movie, just a very heavy movie. But it's also heavy in the way that like Canoa is. Like, that's another thing about that I think is like part of Mexican culture and part of like the Mexican identity. It's not just like, you know, Mexicans, we have like a weird affinity for horror aesthetics and vibes and stuff. But I think like there's just something about power and politics that plays a huge part into our history as a people and into the art that we make. Like I think it's really interesting that like both Canoa and La Llorona are movies that are based on real historical tragedies, and they both use horror not just like as a genre, but as an idea, as sort of like a framework to explore like the sort of dark aspects that like mob mentality or authoritarianism and all that shit. Like I think the way that Mexican cinema has been able to explore these things, um especially with the horror genre, like it's something that like I think is not just part of or I don't even know if it's unique to the Mexican identity, but I do think it's part of it. uh and what I love about it is just like how powerful the two can be, and like the fact that we as a culture use this to explore ourselves, our identity, our past and all. I think it just presents like a sort of bold honesty that helps make these movies, specifically these two, but I'm sure anything else like in its sort of ilk, right? Because you could look at Rapiña or yeah, especially Taboada's Rapiña, and like that's also a movie about like political and social political issues, but it's using horror and no, like that's my favorite Tawada movie. So like, yeah, La Llorona I think carries on in that tradition and really, especially with the sound design. That's the one thing that I remember the most about this movie is like listening to it with my 5.1 and just like there was times, guys, there was times where I was watching this movie where like I had to pause and look around because the surround sound was so good that I thought there was something in the actual room that I was hearing through my headphones. Like that's how good the sound design is here. And again, I also do think that like the way that the movie plays with audio and visuals and the relationship between the two, not only was it great, but Kanoa does the same thing. I can't help but think that there is definitely an homage being paid in that moment to Kanoa. So yeah, let's rate it. Let's rate La Llorona here. Um I hate to fucking be three in a row here, guys, but I'm gonna be real here. Like I'm gonna be 100%. This is the shit that cinema is made of, in my opinion. Like being able to use all the tools of this art form to say and do powerful, interesting, memorable things. And yeah, I think these three definitely earn it here. We're going to talk about Grave Robbers next. Now, this is another film by the director of the first Vacaciones de Terror. I think it's his third film. And it's funny, I think I've seen his first three movies. I've seen Vacaciones de Terror, Vacations of Terror. I've seen Don't Panic / Ocasiones, Dimensiones Ocultas, and now Grave Robbers, Ladrones de Tumbas. And honestly, like the dude, like you could see confidence increase from one film to another. Like Vacaciones de Terror, again, great special effects, but it just doesn't have the horror vibes visually or in its audio. It's all just like special effects, and they're all kind of shot flat. With Don't Panic, like he has like a bigger canvas to paint with. Hey, Mick, how you doing, man? He has like a bigger canvas. He's telling a bigger story, and you see him really step up. But I think with like Grave Robbers, you really see him come into his own because the cinematography is the best that he's ever done, just hands down. there's some great imagery throughout this entire movie, especially like the opening, like straight out of like a heavy metal music video and shit, but shot on 35. And yeah, like this one is just the one that just escalates in its batshit craziness over and over again, until like the end is just kind of fucking nuts. And you know that you're getting set up for a good, especially like a good slasher movie, when like you got 12 characters in the first 30 minutes and then like 4 in the last 20. And this is like all the kills in this are super memorable, super great effects. And again, just the cinematography here and the direction is some of the best of the directors that I've seen, at least. So I'm actually gonna put Grave Robbers. I don't want to go it is better, like it's better than Vacaciones de Terror 2. I'll be straight up with you guys. It's a better movie than that, but I really can't put it up there on the same level as the cinema. So I'm gonna put it right here in película. All right, so we got 3 and 3. I got one more here, and this is gonna represent Los Spookies season 2. Now, Los Spookies season 2, it's a very interesting season. I feel like in my review, I came off a little more negative than I intended to when I said that, like, you can feel this show hitting its limits, but like I don't mean that like that's not really like a bad thing inherently. I don't think. Um I think the show understood that it had limits and embraced it. And I think in the second season, not only does it do what a lot of shows do in the sense that like it widens up its world, its scope, and has a lot of fun with its premise. But like, I also think they do it with the confidence that not only is this show ending, but it seems like it's ending on their terms. So like every episode has this very unique sort of personality, and takes all these different like very interesting visual risks and stuff. Like there Andres at one point becomes a stair model, and it's like super silly, but like it's shot surprisingly well for being so dumb. uh yeah, there's a lot of, in the first season you can clearly tell a lot of thought and effort went into shooting and presenting the horror effects. In season 2, that level of care and attention is done to like every aspect of the show. The characters, the characterization, the plots, the settings, all that shit. Like it's all just a huge step up. Um, and yeah, it's weird, right? Like I feel bad that this show is ending because it is ending, but also it's like this show did not outstay its welcome. It's leaving the party at the right time, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one right here, but I'm gonna put it right here in the middle too, because like again, it's better than the first season, I think, but it's just not as good as everything else in the top tier. Yeah, yeah, that seems about right to me, guys. I watched 7 movies for this last month in Mesa Terror, and this seems to be pretty much, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Constructive criticism as a fan of yours. I was mad when the people that don't debate the other guys were normal while you had to be the Joker. Well, that was kind of the thing. Like PP Little is, I mean, his name is PP Little, like yeah. But let's see. Yeah, that's gonna be that. I know I was gonna say something about the movies, but honestly, like I've already did the reviews and they're all gonna be like up here anyways. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a bottle of water really quick, you guys. And when I get back, we're gonna continue watching the Latino slant coverage of the Let's Talk About It drama and shit. So yeah, give me just 2 seconds here and we'll continue the show. Until then, yeah, let's see how long this takes. Countdown from 30. All right, guys, we're back. I literally just right on time. right on time, right to the second on that. That was good timing. Okay, so yeah, so for those who weren't here last week, towards the end, we were talking about we were talking about oh jeez. Hold on here, guys. We were talking about the let's talk about it phenomenon or issue with Nerdrotic putting that shit up, and then what was going on. It's a masterpiece of yours, but if you are a character, I don't think it's too much to ask for them to be a character. No, I thought they did pretty good at being characters. Like, I don't know. I tried to write in their voices the best that I could for that. But noted for sure. But where was I? Yeah, so for those who don't know, there was a lot of hoopla. Pillar of Garbage did a good job of covering it about this sort of title that Nerdrotic used. Let's taco about it. And he didn't have our boy Latino Slant on it. And so I'm watching Latino Slant's coverage of that shit. And last we left here, dude, that guy's got some horrors. Bob's got him some horrors, like straight up. Yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, we only got about like 10 minutes into that video, which is a bummer because it was getting really good. And come on, there you go. Sorry, dude, my fucking. I feel like that's like a running theme between everybody covering this shit. Like all our fucking mics have been wonky this week. Okay, so here we were. Okay, so yeah, they're right there. And again, as you guys can see, we're talking about Mexican culture, Mexican cinema, Mexican representation. Not one Mexican on the whole goddamn street. All right. Oh yeah, no, 100%. He's the goddamn worst, So let's continue on here.
Is not I want something fancy. I want something that is different. I want the things from my childhood. I want the things from when I felt great being here.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense because when I was home, we go around the corner and get pastel if I'm in Brazil. If I'm in Argentina, you get a choripan, But the funny thing about this,
right, yeah. So we were still talking about like the whole taco thing to begin with. It's tacos, bro. Like they're good. They're cheap and they're easy to make. Like that's why we eat them so much.
real funny thing about this is that Gary, all the time when he talks about going to San Diego, what is the first thing he goes? He goes to get his tacos.
Yep.
Also, yeah, let's be real here. Tacos are fucking delicious. They're just good fucking food. Like why? Here's the real question: why not tacos? Why not? Why wouldn't they be stoked on tacos? I've eaten so many tacos in my life, and I'm always stoked to eat more. I'm always down to eat. Look at me, guys. I'm always down to eat tacos. So that's attacked. I'm just wondering how offensive this will be. Honestly, they're not really. The thing is, right? And here's the thing: like, if you pay attention, I wish I could. Like, I'm gonna put this on screen. Well, I'll put it up on screen when it happens. Like, Paulie gets visibly pissed. Like, he visibly gets annoyed that like some of the shit they're saying, and you can hear them like be annoyed too, like the guests. But for some reason, they just want to default to giving these guys credit. I don't get it. All right, let's continue watching here.
Everything you guys said, right? And yes, you just imagine we're going to go into the Blue Beetle story. Jaime Reyes goes basically, how many miles away from Palmera City. He's, the new it's culture clash for him. So, he's at Gotham University. So every couple of months or how long it is, when he gets home, that's all he's thinking about.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. 100%. Every time I go visit back home, like there are always like this one taco truck that I go to. That's like the one thing that I know for sure I'm gonna hit is that one taco truck because I'm pretty sure I put that whole family's kids through college and shit because I used to go. I'm telling you, I used to go there like too much.
Think about Iron Man, the original Iron Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
What does Tony Stark says when he is going down the plane after being rescued? I want a proper American burger. Well, he gets Burger King, so I reject his premise.
Right, that's pretty good.
He's getting out, man.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that
here's what I don't get. They're clearly talking like they understand why this is a stupid point to bring up, right? and yet they don't want to fucking be like, fuck these guys. I don't get that, dude. They seem to totally understand that, like, they're being dicks, but they want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe just because, like, look, I've been in Paulie's shoes. All right, I've been in Paulie's shoes where, like, you thought someone was cool, you find out they're racist pieces of shit. It burns a little. It burns a little to fucking find that out, and maybe it takes a little time to process that and admit it to yourself. But we've all been there. We've all been burned. Okay, unfortunately, running defense for these assholes is not doing anyone any favors, especially all these guys, because they just kind of look like cucks, in my opinion.
He gets to freedom, he gets to his home, he wants a burger. It's exactly the same.
Why are these? Why is this a sticking point? Like, this is, to them, it's a stereotype that you should be embarrassed about. I totally disagree, and I'm kind of surprised that Quarter Black, Nerd Rod, I mean, these guys they live in Texas.
If you see, American movies are an American stereotype. If you think about how they manage the characters, are American stereotypes. Are not even when they go full redneck, they go absolutely to the limit redneck. So it's hyper realistic on that sense.
Absolutely.
Exaggerated to
Let's go on.
They walk into their house and she's like, "That's where Mama told us how to make salsa."
the name of his
truck is Taco.
What's wrong with that, bro?
Actually, the name of my truck has a taco in it.
You see, this is why Nerd Roddick couldn't have you on, Paulie, because you were gonna say that shit, and you were gonna make it very fucking obvious. These guys are kind of fucking racist, and like, you know, I don't know if you guys saw Bob's stream earlier today, but I thought it was interesting that Nerd Roddick even brought up the whole plausible deniability thing, because the way that he said it, you could tell that that's something that's on his mind a lot. That is something that Gary Buechler spends a lot of time thinking about, is plausible deniability. You know, like, if you look at his content, you can kind of see him trying to maximize that plausible deniability as much as possible, because he's a fucking coward. You know, so one of the things that he did to sort of serve that is to make fucking sure that he didn't have any actual Mexicans on. Because because if the Mexicans are on and they actually call him out, there goes his plausible deniability. And Gary might actually have to own up and take responsibility for the shit that he is actually saying. And he's not about that. He's Gary Buechler is a man that I have just, like, I don't know him. I have never had so little respect for a human being that I've never met before. Like, 100%. Let me see. I was in Mexico on a trip once. Wonderful place. I bought a lot of knickknacks and also saw that ceremonial rope twister thing. No, I'm trying to, Lindsay and I are trying to figure out, like, if we can afford to go there next year. Let's see. Please don't consider Az or Dispanuta or Mahler to represent the UK. They're not in the correct. No, I don't think they are in any clique. I think if they were, they wouldn't be the way they are. Him and Ryan Cannell not going blackface for Halloween episode of VNT. Did they? Did they really? That's fucked up. They did. Holy shit.
Call it a taco.
What the freak is wrong with you? Okay, so again, this is another thing where you just don't understand, homie, is that we have nicknames for everything.
Dude, he's just, that is not how you say homie to a friend. Okay, Paulie, you're mad, bro. You're annoyed. Like, you're angry right now. Own it. Come on to the dark side here, buddy.
Even in the film, he's like, I'm calling my machine Trampoline. When you create something cool, you name it yourself. That's what we do.
That's what we do. And the thing
Romy's name is not her full name. That's a nickname.
Romy, my sisters get called by nickname.
Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, my mom called me Boboch. I don't know what that means. It doesn't.
And even if you talk about Latino geeks or even Latino engineers, you come to my house. What's the first thing you see? The network name is Star Trek based. One is Neutral Zone. The other is Deep Space. I'm
not gonna lie. I think they're making a little too much out of this whole naming thing stuff. But you know why they're doing that? Is because they're pissed. They're mad. They're angry at these fucking white boys for being racist pieces of shit. They're fucking pissed off about it. Clearly. But for some fucking reason, they just don't allow themselves to say it. And it's like, dude, we can hear it in your voice. We can hear it in your language. We can hear it in everything that you guys are saying and doing. You're mad. Why are you running fucking defense? Like who is this helping? Like, dude, listen, like, how many, like, this is like fucking Latino Slant's highest performing, like, video in a while. 2.8K views. That's pretty fucking good. All right, not gonna lie. But here's the fucking thing. He's running fucking defense, right? He's running fucking defense for like I'm sure a lot of his 6,000 goddamn subscribers come from like nerdrotic fans and shit like that. But dude, your videos struggle to get into the triple digits. All right, like let's be totally real here. All right, I'm just gonna put it all on the table here, Paulie. Dude, you know these guys are assholes. You know they're being racist pieces of shit, and here you are running defense for them. Okay, and all people like me can see other Mexicans is you desperately like trying to pretend you're not fucking angry for what? Like 80 views on a video? That's what this is all for? Like, dude, take the fucking hint. They don't respect you. You weren't invited for a goddamn reason.
Depending on the speed of connection you want. You see, the system that I have handling the connections is Heart of Gold for Hitchhiker. Everything is with a nickname, and if you are a nerd, the nicknames are nerdy. If you are not a nerd, if you are a normal person, you use whatever stuff you had around that make you feel like, yeah, it looks like that.
No, I agree. But we're in regards to this, they're attacking how the Mexican American family is portrayed in this film, right? As
attacking. That's the key word. They're attacking. Like even he's acknowledging this shit.
Offensive or just inaccurate. And they're so far just completely
It's really accurate.
Yeah, they're not.
They're accurate. They're just
how much you pay for that taco? Hey, yo, you know this, boy. He's got his free
Oh,
Nerderotic.com.
And I don't know if we want to put up spoilers, but I can share them because it's really hilarious.
Nobody has. And how they stuck together. Like, I think that was a great aspect of this. One of the few great aspects of the fact that they made a family.
Okay, so Ryan, I think out of this group likes it the most.
Right.
Okay, let's listen.
Centered.
I enjoyed
how
that as well.
important family was and how they stuck together. Like, I think that was a great aspect of this. One of the few great aspects of the movie that it was really centered on family. I like the fact that there was a love interest and it wasn't like she was shutting him down or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. That's kind of back to traditional some storytelling we don't fucking get, but it just is not enough to make up for a lot of the big problems.
Oh, exactly. Like, because I enjoyed the family aspect.
I'm curious, because like, yeah, Ryan Cadell actually does sound low key a little like soft on the movie and shit. I wonder what he's gonna fucking bring up as criticisms then.
Too. The problem is I found the family so bloody annoying.
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
That's a Latino family. It's
that's
annoying.
literally, yeah.
Get used.
Bro. Well, listen,
Do
I'm
you
gonna
even
give
have
Homeboy
family?
a pass because I don't even think I don't know if he's left his.
Why? Why are you giving him a pass? I mean, look, I haven't seen the movie, to be fair, but if all these guys are looking at this Mexican family and saying like, yeah, like that's what Mexican families are, and then you got Shadiversity here saying like those people are fuck, this family is annoying. What do you think about them he finds annoying, y'all? Like if all three of you guys agree this is what Mexican families are like, then what Shadiversity is saying is Mexican families are annoying. Why are you giving him the fucking benefit of the doubt, dude? It makes no
Country. I don't know if he's ever been to Latin America.
No, he's on Australia.
Yeah,
He's
it's
Australia.
Yeah, it's Australia.
Totally different perspective.
Yeah, totally different. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's why the country's so big. Everybody, like, as soon as they're able to leave their family, they probably leave them behind. You know, us, we probably have to take them with us.
Yep.
It's just like, come on, that uncle, like, when they take the truck and he like passes out, I'm just like, am I watching a cartoon? Like, this is.
Oh no, it's not just that, Phil. It's not just that, man. Like they went out of their way to make sure no Mexicans were here. Like they had Paulie. That's why this is here. Like Paulie is their Mexican guy. That's their shield against racism, claims of racism against Mexicans. Gary knows his plausible deniability. And he's mad because he's starting to realize what most of us saw from the very beginning here. Gary Buechler is a bit of a fucking snake. A little bit of a cockroach.
Ridiculous in the extreme. They're all caricatures.
Yeah, he's Latinos.
I mean, of the characters I got the most crap was George Lopez's character, and I love his character.
I have opinions about the uncle.
Yeah.
I have a ton of opinions because that's
One,
the guy.
give us one.
Okay, that's the kind of guy that I hang out with, and he's the kind of guy that I am because
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that has been very consistent about, like, at least from all the like Mexican voices on this movie, like they all love George Lopez and he likes Chapulín Colorado. Like, dude, Chapulín Colorado, I forgot the actor's name, but he also played Chavo del Ocho. And dude, like those are classic TV shows. Those are institutions in Mexican culture, especially if you grew up Mexican, like American and shit. Like, yeah, Chavo del Ocho, Chapulín Colorado, all that shit. Like that was part of our upbringing. It makes sense that a Mexican American would be like, because what Chavo del Ocho, that shit was around since like the 70s, I think, at least the early 80s. Yeah. It's shit we all like. Of course, there's gonna be old heads who are into fucking Chapulín. It's like the Mexican version of what, like Married with Children, almost.
he's the guy that is talking
Maybe
about
not
basic.
Married with Children, but like not like in subject matter, but in the estimation.
Conspiracy theories that end up being true, and about all the shit that the government does and everything. Well, that happens, and he is a technical engineer that can do this incredible machine that hacks a security system that.
And like that's just another thing. Like my dad, like my parents they grew up in Mexico, like in poverty and shit, right? Like my parents, like their family, like their families, they could not afford new things, right? They just couldn't. My dad knows how everything fucking works. Like when we were kids, like when we were kids and the VCR got like something wrong with the VCR, and it wasn't just like the head. Like my dad would take it all apart, fucking run the tester. He would just figure it out. My dad can fix fucking anything. He's one of those guys that is not just like a handyman, but like a really skilled one. Like he doesn't just do sloppy work and shit. Like it's part of our culture because a lot of us did come from poor families to just know how this shit works. Like, I'm a spoiled Mexican American. Like I grew up in America and my parents came here to give us a good life and they did. So like, I never had to do that shit, but my parents, they didn't have the choice. And I can promise you that, especially because like my dad is around George Lopez's age. Like he's from that generation too. Probably had that experience. It makes sense that like in our culture, there's just an affinity for, or not even an affinity, but like we lean towards engineering, towards fixing shit because like we have to, due to the culture that a lot of us come from.
He is really advanced, and what does he does? Play the Chapulín.
Plays Chapulín Colorado, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the kind of job that I will do. There's a
great subversive.
Yeah, there's a virus
joke, yeah.
that used to go around. I think it was in the early 2000s. That was the Smurfs. It will just sing the Smurf song on your PC all the time to make you crazy. That was everything. It didn't erase files, didn't take your information. It was just annoying because some people just want to be annoying. So having the Chapulín playing, yeah, that's a good tactic. That's a really interesting tactic.
Let's jump around.
You just like saw that everything.
No, that's true, right? We did see the missile going that far away from him, exploding, causing an unbelievable amount of devastation.
Like, was this before the fucking pronouns?
And then 2 minutes later,
With the people.
Mexicans are sneaky, dude.
Have you ever run from the cartel?
Credit I want to give him for the whole.
So Ryan said Mexicans are sneaky, and then they all laugh. I mean, listen, it's off-color humor. I don't give a shit. I'm just wondering. I think I heard,
dude. He's like struggling so hard to let that go right now, Man, that's something I have in common with my dad. He had a tough time in Armenia, power outages, war with Azerbaijan, but it really made him ready for anything at this point. Yeah, no, like, yeah, if you got parents who came from like difficult, like my dad is a level of badass that I will never be, like, because my dad had to be, like he's like, he's been through it all, yeah, and I think that's just like common for people who like are second or third generation. Like each generation gets more and more soft and shit, like my nieces and nephews, they are like the most sensitive, and like in my generation that would have been a problem for all these kids to be this sensitive, but it seems like their generation is a lot kinder and all that shit, and that's good and all. But I feel like every generation after that initial one just gets more and more American in a lot of ways, and in a lot of sad ways too. Like the kids don't really know Spanish all that well, which is, I'm not their parents, I'm not really in charge of that, but that is kind of a bummer. As from the UK, number one place to live in this really famous survey for at least a decade. That's a bummer. Honestly, it can't be worse than a lot of places here in America. They're like 100%.
Someone tell me that during this conversation where they brought me up, right?
Right.
And what did they say?
Well, that's the thing. I think it was in the full broadcast. I don't know if it's in the clip because
I don't think it's in the clip.
Right, I don't think it's in the clip.
No, it's not in the clip, bro.
Yeah, because that you like it. That you like the movie because you're positive.
Oh, not because I'm not because I happen to be Mexican. Okay.
Yeah,
because I'm positive. Well, listen, I walk into movies positive all the time. It's noted. I couldn't stand Namor. I couldn't stand National Treasure with the Mexican thing. So it's not like automatic with me, guys.
Right.
But
you're going there hopeful. Yeah.
Why wasn't any of us, or Mexican Iron Man, or Lily 300 Mirrors?
Here we go.
Bring us on for the segment. Let us give ask him some questions. Let us to give our take. Paulie Pablo liked it. I liked it.
It's kind of ironic, right? Like this is ironic that fucking Ryan Cadell said that like, oh, Mexicans are sneaky and shit. And then Paulie right here has just started to click like, wait, these motherfuckers are sneaky. Come on, Paulie. Where's your fucking cajones, dude? Like put 2 and 2 together.
It would have been I thought it would be more dynamic conversation. That's one thing in this whole thing that I think is lacking is the fact that there just wasn't a real, balanced voice, or actually someone that, really knows the culture, right? And in this case, the Mexican American culture. Go ahead.
So you want Friday night tacos with extra salsa?
Yeah.
Right. You know what? Correct. Don't be afraid, guys. It's not a cliche to ask a Mexican on. Don't worry about it.
You want a taco shop that doesn't have what's everybody puts on their thing, you want the Cholula sauce, not the
okay, right,
Cholula.
Right.
What kind of fucking Mexican is putting Cholula on their tacos? Like the fuck? Who does that? I've never. Especially if I'm going to like a taqueria, like a Mexican restaurant, Cholula on a taco, bro. There's fucking fresh salsa. I've never heard that. That's something else. I have relatives in the UK. My grandma's flat's just a few blocks away from the Beatles' recording studio. That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty dope.
My dad was never able to unlock the spirit, so instead he built his own tech.
I didn't think it was the worst movie I'd ever seen. It was very mid, if anything. Everything was as cookie cutter as you could possibly think. Even the cultural stuff was like checking every single Hispanic box.
I thought it was great.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a cookie cutter movie. Is by the basics a superhero movie, including having all the romance, having the family in danger, having him being the reluctant hero. Everything was for me. This movie should have been around 2005 because it's a really good mix between the early 2000 superhero movies like Spider-Man and the 90s superhero movies, the B movies that used to be on random channels late night at 3 a.m. But it works. It's that feeling of this is the basics we need, the basics of a superhero, and then we do anything else because we don't have a basic.
Not only does it work for me, it's completely charming. It's inoffensive. You have characters coming from a different point of view. In the family, some are conservative, some are not, some are whatever. That's a family.
Exactly.
I don't understand, and
that's another thing too. Like, so many, especially the older people in our families, are very conservative, because they come from a Catholic society. But I also think, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like my family, but even like the really religious people in my family, like they're a little more progressive than most people around them and shit. I don't know why, but like I don't know. I feel like even like Mexican conservatives, especially unless they're like, brainwashed by Fox News and all that shit, like I think they're just kind of built a little bit different, a little more accepting, because that's another thing about Mexican culture, right? Like in Mexican culture, like in my family, like, and I've gone up and down in weight. Like I've been really skinny back in my like California certified hot boy days, license and everything. Like back when I was like super thin and fucking like built and shit, my family calls me gordo, which just means fat. Like that's my nickname, fat. And I've been called fat because I was a fat kid. And that's just it. Like we're a little mean. We're a little mean sometimes, but it's also like mean with a lot of fucking like affection and shit. I don't know where I was going with that, to be honest, but let's continue on here.
Hiding family secrets too with a nana being an Adelita was brilliant.
Was she an Adelita or a Zapatista?
I think it was Zapatista.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I know. If you go to Mexico,
right.
You say that, they will hang you by the balls because it's really different. But
meaning that a Zapatista, they're inspired by Zapata, who was in the Mexican Revolution, Adelitas. What we're talking about, guys, is a female Mexican freedom fighter during the revolutions.
Yes.
And they wanted nothing to do with imperialism. Mexican, American governments, down with it all.
And I know ladies like that.
Absolutely.
I have been around ladies like that. You go to indigenous community and they were fighting the government and they were fighting the guerrilla and everything. And you ask, and the abuela have a body count, like in this movie. Kills a lot of people.
Absolutely. Okay.
Oh no, yeah. Oh, that's it. I mean, no. Oh, okay. I don't want to get too much into like my own like family history and stuff like that, but there's a lot of there's just a lot of fucking, I don't know if it goes back that far to the Mexican Revolutionary War, but like at least on my dad's side, there's a lot of military shit that goes on there and stuff. So I wouldn't even like, yeah, that's just kind of part of our history and shit.
Let's jump to Chrissy Mayer, what she has to say.
Like cringy, racist lines in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because of how it was written or because George Lopez is a comedian and he kind of was like.
Have you ever watched the George Lopez show?
No, I don't know if it's because he brought a little something extra to it, but like the whole Batman is a fat.
What? This woman is telling Mexicans what is fucking like her. She is telling me what is racist about a movie made by Mexican directors and actors, and I'm guessing maybe a writer or something. But like, dude, again, you know what's funny though? Like, you know what's funny to everyone? I think to like most average people, this is just bad optics. Just day one, bad optics to not have any Mexicans here. But I think to their audience. Yeah, their audience probably doesn't think there's anything wrong with like excluding Mexicans from this audience, where a bunch of white people gets to tell each other what is and isn't racist towards Mexicans and shit like that. This is such like, and it's so weird because this reminds me of Get Out, you know, because back when I used to live like in a beach town and shit, like I ran into this sort of Get Out crowd all the fucking time, you know, and like that's what this screams of, and that's usually attributed to like liberals and all that shit. But like, at least when liberals do it, there's a good intention behind it, even as racist and kind of wrong as it may be. There's generally a good intention around it. This is just a bunch of fucking grifters using Mexican culture as a way to feed angry fucking content to their sad ass fucking audience.
Yep. Like he said a lot of dumb things, and like we learn out of absolutely nowhere that he's this technical genius. Like we're supposed to just be like, oh, of course he's a tech genius. Like, isn't every Hispanic uncle a tech genius? Here's the thing: is they threw everything possible to make you care for this family, and I'm somebody who it doesn't take very much for me to cry.
Okay.
Okay, I will say this. I am an uncle from Latin America that has learned by himself robotics, software engineering, and video editing, just by watching videos on YouTube and shit. And I have been working as a developer for the last 12 years. So
yeah, I mean, I don't. I'm with you.
I have been working in things like pharmaceuticals.
Sure.
So I have been in that position where
that's like the thing too. Like none of us, my brothers or I, are like at that same level as my dad in terms of like all the shit that he knows. But my brothers are electricians, and like I'm a welder and shit. You know, like even to like that smaller degree, like we're all working trades and stuff. I think we just like to, you know. I don't know. I think we just like to make stuff. Maybe that's just my family and shit. But yeah, probably Yukio just opens out. You know, my oof. Jerry, the new Beatles song, it only released yesterday, and the video is not out until tomorrow. They use the machine. Yeah, no, I got mixed feelings about that. I don't even know, like, if I want to be honest, because like some things are just lost, man. Like I feel so weird. Like we live in this bizarre age where nobody wants anything to die or go away or to. I don't know. I don't get it, to be honest. But hey, if somebody puts it on, I'm not going to tell them to turn it off.
You are a random guy, a random Latino guy that talks shit about the government, about conspiracy theories and everything. And also, you are just that guy that everybody wants to fix the phone or the PC because that's the guy that knows shit.
Okay, let me just say this right now, right? Cousins and uncles, handymen, plumbers, electricians, anything and everything that you can think of that has to do with building.
I say this as a Mexican uncle and welder. That 100%, yeah.
Exactly.
Building stuff from scratch. That's all we do. I think the stereotype is you're thinking that we're just mechanics or cooks or even lawnmowers. Tell you what, we got to keep fixing our equipment.
Exactly.
So that is kind. I don't know where Chrissy's coming from with being offended by that. And then the Batman is a fascist line. That's what Theo Rudy would say because Theo Rudy's a fucking nutball.
Exactly.
Dude. Again, you guys are totally fucking right. Why are you fucking sitting there with shit-eating grins on your fucking face, being like, well, you know, without Nerdrotic, I want to get 60 views on my latest video, so I'm just going to sit here and pretend to not be mad, even though I can barely contain it. Who is decoding the fall of the Aztec and the fact that history we know is wrong or out of context? No, yeah, I've been definitely educating myself on all that shit, dude. Uncle Ed. Oh, dude, no, we're all flavors of badasses, you know. Like, yeah, like Uncle Ed is a welder and that's badass, but their dads are both really very, very successful electricians, 100%.
Exactly, but that's the fun part. If you are in a low resource, in a low income country, what you do with technology? You recycle and make your own, because that's the reality of life. If I need something, I will use it and fix it, or I will make something from scratch.
Yeah.
you need to. You cannot go to Walmart and buy it because there's no even Walmart here. So you do it. You don't need to be offended by that because we enjoy it. It's part of daily life.
Fletcher, really fast. You're very multi-talented, from doing physical productions to knowing software and all that stuff. I mean, I know you haven't seen the film, but we two have.
Here we go.
There's even a line in the film, Fletcher, where Lopez comments on us as a people and our resiliency.
Yeah,
that is fucking true, 100%.
Yeah.
On that speech, that's the speech when they are in
on the roof.
Yeah. That speech,
dude. Have some more pride, bro. Seriously. Again, it's so I like Paulie. Seems like a good guy. I cannot state enough that I do not group him with Nerdrotic, even though he seems to want to be grouped with them for some fucking reason. But dude, you just
hear it when they are in
on the roof.
Yeah. That speech, if you hear it really, really slow, with all the attention you need, you will notice that he's not talking about going against capitalism, for example. He's talking about being in the United States and fighting for your family and staying there and making something because you can no longer go back to
100%.
Yeah, it's the American dream. It's capitalism to the best.
You think crossing the border was tough for your dad? No, it's the next 20 years, carving a life, keeping everyone together. That's beautiful,
dude. Yeah, no, honestly, I fucking hate when conservatives go on and on about fucking illegal immigration. It's not about race. I just think they should follow the law, dude. There was this one fucking guy who would always go on and on and on about illegal immigration. And he would always say, it's not about race. I don't care what race you are, I just think we should all be following the fucking law. And first of all, can anybody explain? No one's ever been able to explain to me how crossing the border illegally is any worse than any other nonviolent crime. That's just, no one's been able to do it, and nobody can. I'm telling you this, my fellow Mexicans, if someone tries to pull that shit on you, just fucking have them explain to you why crossing the border illegally is any worse than stealing or any other non-violent fucking crime, and they just see them fucking sweat. All right. And let me tell you guys why this talking point is bullshit. The whole, it's not about race, it's about the laws. No, fuck you, okay? Because every one of us is a criminal. Every single one of us, every single person is a criminal. All right, we all jaywalk. We all go a little bit over the speed limit. Maybe we all buy things, do things we shouldn't do when we're partying with our friends and stuff like that. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I am not judging, okay? What I'm saying is every single person is a criminal, including the conservatives who are saying all they want is people to follow the law. All right, here's the thing. I will believe you if you say it's not about race, it's about the laws. I'm just gonna assume you're racist, because that is racist. Because literally, if it was about laws, let me just rephrase that. If you say that you are racist, the only way that I will take that back, the only way that I will say, my bad, I'm wrong, you are not a racist, is if you then turn around, walk right into the police department and tell them, hey, I spent this much on this day 20 years ago when I was in college. I bought this much cocaine with my buddy. Dude, go in there. If you really give a shit about fucking following the laws, start with yourself. Go tell the police every law you ever broken and fucking deal with it. Because otherwise, it's really not about laws. It's about other people following laws, right? It's about other people, other groups of people that should be punished severely for breaking a non-violent law. And if it really came down to fucking just laws and shit, again, we've all fucking done it. We all speed. We all that shit. Okay, go to the police first. And then I'll fucking take back my claims that you're a racist if you say that shit. If you try to pull that fucking shit, 100%.
Yeah, and that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And then go ahead, Fletcher.
It's every Latino family. I mean, I remember when we around the holidays and stuff like that, you go over to your parents' house and all your family's there, and it's when my nephews would come and bring, everybody would bring all their little friends, because it's wait a minute, the American household sometimes weren't together, so they were shocked that everybody's together. You have generations sitting at a table. We all try to. Let
me see. EJ Peach Cobbler be like, I say they invade every American agency for 12 years and become citizens illegally. We need that in this country. I used to ding dong ditch in high school. Yeah, borders are kind of an obsolete concept. I mean, yeah, especially because God, like the way conservatives talk about like most conservatives think the world has always been as it is today. They forget that for the vast majority of the American history, there was no border wall. There was barely any like checking in on who was leaving or going and shit like that. You know, the only reason things got the way they are is because shit popped off in Mexico. And okay, fair enough, I get that, but let's not pretend that wall has like some sort of organic fucking purpose. It served an actual purpose for a while, but now it's just kind of there to enforce some sort of imperialistic bullshit.
Fit into one long ass table, and all the time, my mom's asking me, fix this or get this fixed, or what I mean?
Yeah.
Everywhere, because like that, if you know anything about
anytime I go visit family, there's something they want me to fix. Yeah.
Technology, you're fixing everything for everybody.
Yep.
You're calling your cousins in the other side of the world.
Yep.
And you're trying to fix their phone. It's like,
nah, man. Yeah. And the thing is that you're just not used to seeing it on film.
Yeah.
Also,
in English, because we're not talking about Spanish market, Latin American market. Go ahead.
Also, something that is really common. You say having the family, multi-generational, eating in the same table, everybody. That's also the Italian experience. And if you see a New York Italian, he knows exactly the same thing because all the family eats together because you don't have money for more. You don't have a house each. You have a house where everybody lives because if not, it's the street.
Guys, if you're watching this, we're just jumping around. Obviously, we're not going to cover all of this, and then I want to hit one more quick video. But you see, we're just kind of just, how fun would have been for one of us to have been on this and give our perspective, because it's a perspective that none of these people have on their panel. And they're all again, this is not a personal attack. It's just
no, I love them.
Try not. No, it's not a personal attack. It's a bunch of attacks on our entire fucking race. You're just sitting there with a shit nitty grin on your face, homie. That's pretty sad.
To have a taco, I'm sorry, your truck that has about $10,000 of add-ons on a $2,000 truck.
That's amazing.
I saw a lot of similarities between like the Tony Stark tech.
Okay, you know what?
And comes in.
Try not to have a taco.
Gary, love you, man, but we excel at that.
Yeah, you buy a bottle.
Yeah,
we
take something basic and we fucking make it something more. Exactly. That's dude. God damn. You're so close, Paulie, and Geek Topology and Fletcher Williams. You're so fucking close, man. Why are you afraid of stepping over that line, Paulie? Again, you get like 80 views on your fucking videos, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, that's why there is a lowrider car culture, is that we put money into the things that we can control, that we can make art, that we can improve. That's for men, that's their cars. I would think Gary would get that macho connection right away to a man.
Because he's not macho. Gary Buechler is a little bitch. Let's be totally real here. Gary Buechler is a fucking cockroach of a human being.
A man
even Paulie can't fucking deny that. Like, let's just.
If this is that macho connection, that's for men, that's their cars.
There you go.
I would think Gary would get that macho connection right away to a man in his car. But if this is a cultural thing, and I'm kind of surprised because Gary's is my homeboy from San Diego, it shows you sometimes there is a cultural disconnect.
But there's a cultural shift that is happening right now. People are going, instead of for the cars and making the cars really pretty, they are going for the PCs.
Yeah.
And it's because it's exactly the same. You have something that you can actually pimp.
And when I was a kid, my dad had a pearlescent midnight purple lowrider GMC truck. And my dad like totally kitted out the panels with like wood. He did all the wood paneling himself and shit. That shit was fucking pimp as hell, dude. Like, yeah, no, he's right. Like, again, this is my dad's generation. I built my own PC, of course, but like, no, yeah, 100%. Like, this is who we are as a people. This is our family. This is our culture and shit. And here they are fucking letting all these white people shit talk us and tell us what is and isn't fucking racist, dude. Again, dude, like, grow a fucking pair. There's fucking 6 guys here and like no huevos among any of you guys. It's fucking embarrassing. He shouldn't spend it on reopening his wife's salon or donating. Yeah. Hashtag open nerdrotics wives. We'll figure it out, guys. But I really think we need to do that. We really need to fucking push on fucking Gary for being such a little bitch about the salon shit,
everybody. And also is the thing that you use for fun. If you are not going around in your truck, instead you are sitting playing games, you pimp your machine instead of your ride.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Check out my fans.
it's a Latino thing. And yes, you spend stupid money. You buy the
Stupid
cheapest thing that you can buy and you make it
I
great.
mean, Gary, you know, I just again, I say
Come on,
this with
man.
love, Gary, right?
You know,
You're talking about you're judging someone in regards to the money they have and they put into the cars, but the money you have and you put into your action figures, it's the same thing.
But I guess where they're coming from is they're coming from a
God damn it, Paulie. That's better cut. That's better shit than I would have come up with. Boy, you're angry. He's a little. Come on, dude. I really just wish like Paulie would just let loose, unleash the beast, Paul. Hold on here, guys. My fucking mic stand is all wonky today. All right, let's continue on here.
sense of if the family is so well bad off, you know what I mean?
Let me tell you, man, you know what? We would still have our action figures. We would still have our out record collection, no matter how broke we are.
Right. We just
Record
get it all.
collection, yeah.
No matter how broke. And here's the thing, too, because they were complaining about that in this, is that they probably put all their money into funding Jaime's college fund.
Yes.
Right? And then the money they have, he's got his car. His car is more than a car. It's almost like a Swiss Army knife. So it allows him to work. All right, let's go on. This is good, though.
But also, I think because they don't realize also that a lot of the stuff when there's fancy things, that's a lot of bartering. We do a lot of bartering. That's a system that is not known that much here.
Great point.
But we do a lot of bartering.
Let's go on.
And that's all that was.
Yep.
If they had done a little bit more instead of just constantly making fucking taco references with the family and had them instill some sort of
Ryan, what the fuck, man? I guarantee you guys eat tacos every fucking day.
Dude, come on, Paulie. Embrace it. Embrace it. These guys are fucking shit talking on our culture, dude. Why are you fucking running defense for Ryan Cannell? Ryan KK Cannell. Ku Klux Cannell.
Do you understand that this morning, I that's what I make. I made sausages and eggs and rolled them up into tortillas. That's a taco. That's what we do every freaking day. It is like the economy, like it's the most economic.
Don't be afraid to throw shade at Gary. We've been doing this since he became the way he is. I love that wording. That is so good. I like that. That was funny. The argument is just fuck Mexico. No more defense. No, yeah, exactly, dude. There's no reason to run defense for any of these guys at this point, especially with how mad these dudes are getting.
Way to eat. You put something in a tortilla.
But there's something funny that I'm getting right now, and is they don't get how much the American culture on movies feels stereotypical and overblown for people around the world. If you see an American movie, you don't see really Americans. You see an stereotype of Americans. So when somebody comes to your country as a tourist, you will act like they are from a movie, and obviously they will go, no, we don't do that in reality, or we are not like that, or maybe that's too exaggerated. Yeah, it's exactly the same here. It's an exaggeration, maybe, yes. It can be overblown sometimes, but it's exactly the same as hyper American. This is hyper Latino, but it's made in America.
And again, you don't see this. You're on film. You might have whatever your interactions are with with some Latino families, with friends, to be different. To me, it's like the movie Platoon. When it first came out, Vietnam vets were like, oh, that, all those things are true, but it would never happen to one platoon all at the same time. What's a movie? You put it all in there, right?
It's condensed.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
look, this goes back to the conversation of representation, right? And look, I've said it a million times. I'm not here to defend bad representation. Bad representation exists. Let's make fun of it. Let's highlight it. Let's call it out so that shit never fucking happens again. But here's the thing, dude. Like, even bad representation, which, look, I haven't seen Blue Beetle. No other Mexican has said that it's bad representation. I'm sure it's not. It seems to come from like a genuine Mexican voice and all that shit, But at the end of the day, even if it was bad, even if the representation in Blue Beetle was bad, that just allows everybody in the future who's going to attempt to, represent the Mexican people, that allows them all to look at that and be like, oh, we shouldn't do that. That's bad. And in the end, that has a place, that has a purpose, and that's totally valid. Again, we should not celebrate it. We should not prop it up. We should make fun of it, but but if it exists, if it's going to exist, it has a purpose,
That's, I actually think the way they
and ultimately, I don't know what I was going with here. Ultimately, bad representation leads to good representation. And I believe DJ said it once on the initiative stream that, look, these days, gay people are just kind of presented as normal, but you would have gotten there if it wasn't for decades of gay people playing it all the way up into the stereotypes and shit. You start off at a 10, and then when people get used to the 10, you modulate down. That's just the way good representation has always worked.
The Reyes family is probably one of the best portrayals of a U.S. Latino family I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
In a while. So that's a video, guys. As far as the review, there's more there. I'm gonna have that link in the chat. I think it's just some cultural naivety, and everyone's got their own, listen, everyone's got their own opinion. That's fine, But I'm wondering how me or you would have reacted, Pablo, had we been on that panel and had a chance to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like just what you said, Pablo. Like it's just insight. It's just insight. It's insight from taking care of things. Like we're gonna have this one car. I'm gonna have this one car for 20 years, and I'm gonna take care of it. I'm gonna learn how to fix it. Right. In fact, I'm gonna. Well, okay, you guys get the point. But now, guys, people watching, thank you so much. I want to bring up this video. And again, I'm not getting personal here. It's we're bringing this up because I think we have a little insight that Gary and others here on the channel that everyone loves, right? Just don't have. So
I will say it like this. I absolutely love Nerdrotic. I have been a Gelogia member for more than 2 years. If one day I have enough money, I will go Gandalf. I still think they missed some things here. But it's exactly the same why when we see an American movie, miss some Americanisms.
Sure.
We are just not used to them, or we don't even care because
dude. But the difference is you're not going on your fucking YouTube channel to tell other Americans how to feel about American representation, dude. Like that's the fucking difference there.
It's not part of our culture.
Right.
Now that's a good question because there's some of those friends and comments I got is that don't bother with this video, don't bother talking to them because they just don't care.
I don't think so. Yeah,
guys, they're good. They're good people, man. I think they, there's no need to get nasty.
Right, dude. But like, so what? Most people are good. Okay, I'm really. It's so weird to me how many people have this mindset, especially like in 2023, in the age of like true crime, in the age of like people being super paranoid about like a bunch of different shit. Like I don't know how people just don't get this through their heads, right? Like nice is the default. Everybody is nice. Everybody acts nice towards each other. That is standard. That doesn't fucking mean anything. Okay? I'm pretty sure Gary and Az and Mahler have been nice to Paulie in the past. Who fucking cares? That doesn't change anything that they cover. It doesn't change anything they do. It doesn't change who they are. If someone is nice to you in the moment, all that means that they're nice to you in the moment. They could be the biggest pieces of shit outside of that. And they might just be nice to you. They might be nice to you because they might genuinely like you. They might be nice to you because they are more incentivized to be nice to you than tell you how they really feel and shit. Maybe they just tolerate you, But someone being nice to you is just someone being nice to you. You shouldn't just trust it outright, I'm not saying you should be a fucking paranoid weirdo and assume everyone's a fucking secret psychopath or whatever. But what I'm saying is, who cares? Like, who cares if people are nice? That's nothing. That means nothing to me personally. Because like everyone's fucking nice, dude. Are you good? Are you a good person? And I think like a lot of people use that kind of shit to look, and I think they just did it right here to like see past obvious flaws in others and in themselves. Because like if someone is good, then they're allowed to have a lot of leeway. And it really doesn't fucking matter if they use that leeway to do and say shitty fucking things, right? Like that's just the way I just feel, wonder how Ryan's acting gig is. I cannot wait for Greengrass. That is gonna be a fun stream. Let's continue on here.
Yeah, it's YouTube, plus they're
right.
they're doing it's like when people hang around. And there's always going to be one friend that's not understanding what your conversation is if you go full Latino, you know what I mean? If you start talking about your culture, but other people will get it. So it's the same kind of thing. They don't have, like you said, if you were inserted into the conversation now shifts because you have something that does understand. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that.
So let's finish with this one.
Oh my God, Fletcher. How fucking naive are you, buddy?
It's a comment that Gary has in regards to Mexican Americans and the Reyes family and living by the border. There's a lot here. Let's talk about it here. Let's listen.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
But you also have to understand that if that's what you're going to do, then you must adjust your. If there's anything wrong,
But people are going to freaking want to hate on Aquaman 2 for good reason because it's got Amber Turd.
I don't think there's anything wrong with making a film.
People are gonna hate Aquaman 2 for a good reason because Amber Turd is in it. It's not about her acting. It's not about the writing. It's not about the direction. He's already made up his mind. The movie is bad because Adam Turd is in it. Oh, I mean, that's just, you can see it already. That's how he's going to present it. Like, who fucking cares, right?
Directed towards Mexican Americans. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
But you also have to understand that if that's what you're going to do, then you must adjust.
But guys, if you don't know who this is Az Hill versus Babyface, by the way. He's in England, I believe.
Yes. Well, New Zealand.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, New Zealand. All right, let's go. I don't know where. I don't.
It's a joke from FNT. Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Budgets accordingly. You can't pump 120 million plus into the budget of a fucking film, say that you're pandering towards an audience and expect it to have a widespread appeal. It doesn't work.
I'll tell you, I actually agree and disagree with Az here. I agree in that you have to market it for a larger audience, which they mishandled.
Yes.
I disagree thinking that you have to adjust your production budget. You have to adjust the way you market something that is so ethnically specific.
Yeah.
But the story is universal, whether it's Mexican or Italian or Scottish.
Yeah, I think the main problem is that it wasn't. I mean, this should have been marketed the way like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this is what it is, and here it is. Don't apologize for it. Don't make excuses for it. This is it's an epic Chinese drama. So you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, hit the Sholo Cobra Kai thing.
Yeah.
Hit the Iron Man origin thing.
Yeah.
And you know this is for everyone. Instead, they marketed way too hard to the audience that you knew that was going to come, which is the market change. They're the ones that are, okay.
In this, I believe Az is really on point because of one reason.
You know what? I will tell you straight up. I don't think that movie's gonna be bad. I think it's gonna be fucking glorious. I think it's gonna be one of the funnest fucking experiences I will ever have in my life, watching these guys with this mentality try and make art. That's gonna be a fun fucking day for me. I'll tell you right now.
This movie is basically a Latino movie made in Hollywood.
Yes.
So if you are marketing it, you actually need to go the extra mile to communicate that it's not a DC superhero movie. It's a Latino DC superhero movie made with that intent. It's not for the American audience as the same as Iron Man. That's an American-oriented movie. This is a Latino movie. So when you go to watch this movie, you need to have that in mind. You need to understand that
this is where I disagree. This is where I disagree because America is many things, and it can't just be Captain America, Iron Man. It's also the Reyes family. They're American as well. It's an American story, and that's great, as it should be. It just wasn't marketed like that.
Yeah, but look at La Bamba. When they market La Bamba, you have the, this is the story of,
exactly.
Yeah,
and
that's story,
what I'm saying.
That's different. That's part of music history, right? And also that's a like an underdog, like once My point is that you can be
underdogs. Yeah, exactly, like the Latino people.
Everything at once. This movie is an American superhero story, and it's also a Latin American story. Soto said it himself. I asked him. He's like, it's not, it has Latinos in it, and it is that, but it's also a superhero movie. It's also, has romance. It also has action. Okay, anyways, I think this is a good talk. All right, let's go on here.
Exactly where they fucked up. This can go to Manuel Soto, whatever his name is. There was no fucking gratitude in that movie. And living in Southern California at the height of
Okay, I disagree, and I disagree.
Oh, here we fucking go, Gary.
Where the hero gets saved.
Fucking film. Say that you're pandering towards an audience.
Oh my god, fucking Gary, dude. You know Gary loves living in Texas, guys. You know that guy wakes up every single fucking day excited and happy to be in Texas because he can't shut the fuck up about California. Any chance he gets, he's like, yeah, back when I used to live in California, when my wife's business was dying and all I did was complain about black people and the rings of power, fuck California though. Like Texas is so much better, but fuck California. I used to live there. I fucking hate this cockroach of a person, dude. I tell you, I've never had so much dislike for someone I've never met before. This is fucking insane.
And expect it to have a widespread appeal. It doesn't work.
I'll tell you exactly where they fucked up. This can go to Manuel Soto, whatever his name is. There was no fucking gratitude in that movie.
Go ahead.
Okay, I had that exact same complaint about the marketing of the movie because the marketing of the movie is.
Oh my god, dude! Talk about what he actually said,
this is
please.
The first Latino superhero. I was tired of hearing this is the first Latino superhero because that's bullshit. Right. Chapulín Colorado, and if you want to go technical, Zorro is not a superhero, but is a hero, a pulp hero that is a Latino hero.
He puts on a mask.
If you are going for a superhero, Chapulín Colorado, and what they did in this movie, after we had a real outcry of people saying, you shut up, that's not the first Latino superhero, it's not even the first Blue Beetle. Yeah, and what they do in the movie, they use El Chapulín Colorado and they pay homage and respect to El Chapulín Colorado. They are going straight up with respect. It's not respect for everything on DC Comics. I agree. There's a lot of things as a nerd from the comics that I have issues with the movie because there's a lot of plot points that should not be there. That's all I will say.
Well, listen, but Gary said that there wasn't no was it gravitas? What did he say?
Gratitude, I think.
Gratitude in the film. I'm like,
but
what?
the movie has gratitude
Here we go.
to both DC and to Latino superheroes, especially the Chapulín Colorado, and that's the connection that they needed to do.
And gratitude towards fathers, towards family,
To
towards
the fans.
romance, towards love. Oh my
So
god!
what is he talking about? Is he talking about there's no where is the gratitude that?
No, in the press releases, every
Yeah,
time they
that's what I'm. Dude, come on, bro. You don't hear that dog whistle? They were talking about Mexicans and Americans and how they should be grateful. Come on, man. We've all heard these talking points before, Paulie. Stop acting dumb.
talk on media, they actually sound like they have no gratitude whatsoever. They don't know shit about what they are talking. They don't know about DC. They don't know about the character. They don't know about superheroes on other sides, like in Latin America. It sounds like they don't have that gratitude. They don't have that connection. The movie, in the other side, paid a lot of respect to DC. Not everything, I will agree. There's a lot of bad things. And to Latin American superheroes and Latin American culture, that connection with superheroes. If you come to my country, to any of the countries here in Latin America, you will see people on the street with Batman shirts, with Superman shirts, with Spider-Man shirts. It's part of our culture. Having the superheroes on the screen is part of daily life, is what we love. So having that respect for superheroes was really important.
This is an example of what I call talking to talk. I felt like he had a half a point, and then he just kind of withered into a bunch of half points, but he's just not saying anything. He's too quick to rush to the defense of these guys. Way too quick, man. Like, seriously, pay attention and think about what they're doing and saying, Geek Topology.
Let's go on here to this final point I want to bring up.
And living in Southern California and growing up, there's a lot more gratitude from the people who are there because they fled fucking terrible situations for a scary situation with their family. They're not documented. They're working, but the vast majority of them are grateful. They're like, oh, I wouldn't change a thing. I love it.
Yes. That's a speech from Denkel.
Yes and no. Yes and no. The thing is, he's saying, having grown up in San Diego, right? First of all, not all of us are first generation, second generation. I'm like a fourth generation, and there's millions of us, right? So, it's a trope of like Mexicans are just, they're just grateful to be here and have a job and are hardworking. That doesn't sit too well with me.
Yeah, and not just that, but like the whole idea that we should be grateful. It's just a little fucking just straight up like fucking racist and shit like that. Because let's face it, a lot of us, especially like first generation immigrants and stuff like that, we came here from families that were here illegally. Okay. And let me tell anybody who's like anti-immigration or like anti-illegal immigration who is watching this, you want to stop illegal immigration, really want to fucking stop it, you can stop it overnight. Very simple way. You're not going to do it because, again, the anti-illegal immigration crowd is all about race. They just want to see people who look like me thrown into cages. That's really what they want. But listen, I'll tell you guys, if you want to take care of illegal immigration, you can fucking do it overnight. A very easy way to end illegal immigration almost entirely within 24 fucking hours. Raise the fucking minimum wage to $25 an hour and have harsh federal felony charges for anybody who hires an illegal immigrant or pays less. That's how you solve illegal immigration, dude. That's it. Like, because the only reason why they come here to begin with is because there is a market for it. Who is creating that market? Fucking shitty business owners who don't want to pay people a living wage and want to treat their workers like shit, make them work an ungodly amount of hours and shitty fucking conditions, dude, and they're allowed to do it. And the illegal immigrants that come here are only meeting the demand. They're supplying the demand. That's it. You're not gonna fucking solve illegal immigration on a fucking supply side. You need to hit the demand. That's it, dude. Like, just fucking do it. I'm gonna hit up fucking Joe Biden and be like, yo, bro, I got this. let me write the next executive fucking order, dude.
There's two sides of that. That's the part of resentment of this is not what I love. I'm away. There's a lot of people that have that resentment of I'm away from my country.
Right.
Yeah. But there's the other side of my family
true.
has a house in my country because I'm working here. So who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's gratitude, but also we are human. And when we are in a situation where we don't have the things that we are used to, when we don't have the things that we love, we kind of get cranky. And that crankiness comes out as stupid comments that some people do. And that happens a lot because, you miss your stuff. You miss your family. You miss that part of your culture. You miss the connections. Of course, you're cranky.
So
Yeah.
whether I agree with it, obviously I just disagree with some of the statements here. But as far as Mexican Americans in Southern California, but again, going to this movie, it has that. So I don't know what he was watching to where he was saying, that this.
I think we were talking about this earlier with Pablo. The nuances are missed by the American audience, and I think that could be like a fault maybe of the way that it was set up, or it's just
or they didn't want you guys to get in the way of their racist bullshit, dude. God damn it, guys, you're so smart in so many ways, but you don't want to see it. You don't want to look it in the eyes and recognize it for what it is. And you guys are, I'm sorry, making all of this worse by your fucking cowardice.
Not an exposition, meaning that they could have been like an Anglo boyfriend or something that could have kind of like been the sister, kind of explaining some of the tropes for the audience as a narrator, because a lot of things are missed.
Yeah, but yes and no, because a lot of non-Latinos were picking up a lot on the film and really endearing themselves to this family.
This can go to Manuel Soto, whatever his name is. There was no fucking gratitude in that movie. And living in Southern California and growing up, there's a lot more gratitude from the people who were there because they fled.
I just want to pay attention. Look at the way that Gary looks into the fucking camera here. I swear to God, dude.
Fucking.
So we all did
California and growing up, there's a lot more gratitude from
the way he said that, dude. The way he fucking says, I'm just gonna look at this fucking guy. All right. The way he says gratitude. Look at Gary here.
There was no fucking gratitude in that movie. And
dude, that is the most Karen fucking shit, dude. Like he's such a bitch, bro. He's such a bitch of a person. He looks like a bitch right there. He looks like a fucking literal Karen. Like the kind of bitch that you see on TikTok and fucking Instagram and gets fired on the next fucking day. That look that you should be fucking grateful, dude. Paulie, I know you've seen that fucking look, bro. I know you fucking seen it. Don't fucking give this motherfucker an out, dog. He's going to.
Living in Southern California and growing up, there's a lot more gratitude from the people who were there because they fled fucking.
So we all didn't flee. That's another misconception, right? Because there's a large. Well, first of all, when we're talking about Mexicans, we're native to this part of the Americas.
Yeah, that's fucking dude. Like, especially if we talk about California, Mexicans are natives. This was our country. Of course he is.
Yeah, I just got a lot of problems with that. But also too, besides the history lesson, guys, there is gratitude in this film, and in this film, the family's multifaceted.
Terrible situations for a scary situation with their family. They're not documented. They're working, but the vast majority of them are grateful. They're like, oh, I wouldn't change.
That's what the uncle said,
and we didn't hear any of that. We didn't fucking hear any.
The uncle said that.
Go ahead.
When the uncle is talking on the roof, he's talking how they cannot go back. He's acknowledging that this is better. This is still difficult. There's still a lot of things that are not right. There's a lot of things that can be seen as you are lesser than the natives. You are lesser than Americans, but you cannot go back to the other thing. So yeah, this might have some bad things, but this is better than being hungry and being in danger in my country. So I take this. We are fighting for this. When he's saying that the nana is not documented, that the father is not documented, it's exactly that. Yeah, you don't make any trouble. You stay with your head low and try to survive because some of your family might.
That's the thing too, man. Conservatives, again, they're all racist fucking pricks. So they think that because my parents came here illegally, that like automatically means that we all have cartel connections and that I'm a gangbanger or some shit like that. Dude, first of all, the vast majority of illegal immigrants are like coming to this country for maybe 5 years tops and then never coming back again. That's why so many illegal immigrants don't even bother learning English. They work amongst other illegal immigrants, so they have a little community amongst themselves every year. Like I said, the vast majority of illegal immigrants are not here forever. The ones that do stay in America, do they really? I mean, do conservatives really think so little of the Mexican people? That they think that they will risk committing all these crimes or any crime really if it means they might lose their children forever, dude. Like, again, the whole anti-illegal immigration thing is just fucking racism, and I'll fucking fight anyone to the death on that.
May not be documented, but you want to be in the US because the US is better than anything that you had back. So you are fighting to stay in America and you are fighting for America. That's gratitude. That fight, that is staying and working for America to make America better, that is gratitude. So in that discourse, yeah, you might interpret it as him just venting about how bad gringos are, but he's talking about how much he needs everybody to be there because they are better, they are welder, and that's gratitude. You have issues with some of the things that are happening,
Mhm.
but this is the better place, and I
Sure.
will protect this place, and that's
Fletcher?
what he's saying.
Fletcher?
Yeah, and I think it's the nuance. That's what I'm saying. It's the nuances that got missed. And I think that's what it maybe needed, some kind of like an extra narration and all stuff, some kind of like even like a subtitle type of thing, you know?
Well,
If,
listen, I know
if
you
they
haven't seen
wanted
the
it to
film.
be more,
I know you haven't seen the film, but I think when
Right.
you start explaining away like that and not be as if, then you know, I think that's actually one of the better points is that it's just here's this family and they're not over explaining their existence. They're
Yeah,
here. Some have complaints.
Organic
But
representation.
going back to Jaime Reyes, he just wants he's the one that's trying to get out, right?
Right.
He wants
And
to be
then
American fully. He
fully
wants to
American,
embrace
and
everything.
then bring everyone with him. That's his dream.
Yes.
He's not a selfish kid, and that's what makes him. I think is going to be a great superhero, great role model.
That's why he goes to college, to learn to be able to protect his family with the wealth that can generate with a cozy job.
And
Absolutely.
everybody that I heard from that liked the movie got that part. I'm saying something somewhere got mistranslated for a bunch of people, I think. I'll find out what that is, I guess, when I see it, you know.
Well, yeah, I think
I just want to say, all three of y'all some soft motherfuckers, and you're way more invested in being geeks than in being Mexican. All right, like just 100%, dude. Grow a pair. Again, 6 fucking Mexican dudes, not one fucking huevo between any of them.
I think in regards to what we've just seen from the videos is that I think there's just a perspective that those gentlemen and lady they just don't have, and there's not it's not a judgment. Again, how would the conversation be differently if Pablo was on there for a segment, if I was on there for a segment, but does Friday Night Tights lend itself to that? I mean, in a sense, they just want to have fun and talk shit. They're friends. That's cool too. That's fine too. Because their audience, they want nothing to do with anything identity politics. I get that and respect that as well.
I don't think he has.
Let's wrap it up. Geek, Topology, what are your final thoughts on all this?
I'm a member of the audience. I see the things that they are saying, and I understand a lot. I understand that this movie did not communicate a lot of things, even previously, in the right way.
Geek Topology, man. A lot, again, all three of these guys seem like cool guys. But Geek Topology, dude, you're just, I know what you look like. Like I've hung out with you so many times, and like it's always so frustrating to hang out with people like this. It's like, man, you seem like a really nice guy. You seem like a really trusting person who likes to give the benefit of the doubts. Do you have any idea how that's being exploited and like how that's being taken advantage of by others, dude? Like seriously, you're that committed to being nice. You'd rather be nice than like have dignity. That's wild, dude. What will never fail to astound me is that like Paulie is over here with his channel that struggles to get over 100 views on most of his videos, and he's over here defending Nerd. Dude, come on! I know you probably got a lot of those subs from Nerdrotic's crowd and shit, but how many favors is he doing you? Are the favors that he's done for you really worth you getting visibly angry on screen several times throughout this and getting very visibly frustrated with the shit you're hearing and all that? Like you're pissed, you're mad, you got done dirty, you got played. Own it. Like they tricked you, man. They pulled one over on you. It sucks. Nobody likes that. But you fucking sitting here with your 2 other homies fucking running defense for the person that done you dirty, dude. Come on, bro. Have some fucking self-respect.
I think there's this gap between what they are seeing and we are seeing because there's a difference in optics. And that difference in optics is based on experience. And I don't blame them for not having that experience because, well, it's really difficult to have an experience of somebody that is in the other side of the world. And yeah, they didn't pick all the nuances. They didn't pick everything.
The movie takes place in Miami.
But they were having fun a lot.
Like in Florida, dude. It's not.
Of the jokes are really good on that clip, and they are still understanding something that I think is more important. It's not bad having this movie for Latinos. It's bad the way that was marketed. Is mishandled. The marketing is terrible. Completely agree. But this existence is not bad. It's just we also need good superhero movies, at least from DC. We need a lot of good superhero movies because they are getting rid of Cavill. We didn't have a proper Superman movie with Cavill. There's issues with their portraying of Batman, killing people. All that. We need a proper DC superhero movie, well done. And then we can have Blue Beetle and everything else. But without that backbone, going for these side characters is really difficult.
Yeah,
and
it's at best a B level. Some say it's a 3rd tier superhero.
Yeah, is in category. He will be lower than Doctor Strange and Iron Man were for Marvel.
Which is fine. But like
Yeah,
you
no.
said, you got to have your Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
Fletcher, last thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think I think there's something like I said, is lost in translation in a sense. I think part of it is the DC turmoil that's bringing a lot of his opinions into it. So in other words, you're bringing the baggage from all the other DCU things into this film, which regretfully happens because you've seen kind of like the mess up that they have, all the stuff that Pablo mentioned. You have all that baggage coming into this film. So in other words, you're looking at through the eyes of like a failed franchise and almost the failed future that it's kind of looking like. So I think it's got a lot of it's the glasses are a lot of information. But if you've seen the people who've seen the movie enjoyed it, and even they enjoyed it. So it's kind of like the joy was not lost in the translation. I think the marketing is what really and the baggage of DC is what really solidified a lot of opinions.
All right, I want to thank Geekropology and Fletcher. It's been a very special, fun, extra stream here. We'll have all the links in the chat. Thank you, gentlemen. My final thoughts is that there was definitely mismarketing of the film, but in the film itself, a complex, endearing, loving family.
Paulie, what? They didn't review the marketing, did they? Who are you helping by even bringing that up, bro? You're just giving them more plausible deniability. You're just allowing them to be able to fucking wink, wink, and nudge, nudge, and keep that dog whistle a little bit quieter than it should be.
That from watching your takes, the Friday Night Tights people, I just saw some insight that you guys just lacked, and that's okay, that's all right, But yeah, and to the crowd there also too, tacos rule. Wherever you're at, keep your slam fuerte.
Okay. Well, Jesus hell, guys. Paulie, you seem like a nice guy. I do not want to fucking group you in with a nerderotic crowd, man. But dude, we've all been there. We've all been burned. Okay. Sometimes our trusting nature gets the better of us. Okay. Nobody that has a respect for someone, nobody that has respect for you would have done what Gary did to you, dude. Okay, he knows you're there. I'm pretty sure that there's plenty of time to prepare for this shit. He didn't approach you. He didn't want to talk to you or any other Mexicans on. Take the hint, dude. It's difficult. It's not fun. It's not fun to be like, oh man, I was really nice to someone who turned out to be a racist dickhead. But that's what happened, dude. That's what fucking happened. And why you would run fucking defense for someone who so clearly disrespected you and shit? I don't know, man. I get videos that don't perform as well as I like them to either, but I'm not gonna go fucking sucker up to a fucking dickhead or something for it, man. That's just sad, bro. But man, some people fall for it. Some people fall for it, man. Not everybody is as fucking cynical as I am and shit. And you know what? That is not a bad thing. I am not judging anyone for being too trusting. I envy people that are too fucking trusting. I wish I can go back to that, But man, you got to learn from that shit. You can't fucking cover your ears and go la when someone did you dirty, because it's just gonna end up fucking happening again. And dude, if this is how you're acting in this publicly about something like this, I can't imagine how much you must have been burned in the past, dude, and how much you have probably been taken advantage of by people like this, and how many times you've ran defense for other racist dickheads, bro. But dude, if this is not the first time it's happened, and this is a pattern, grow a pair, dude. You got some huevos, use them. You got a brain, use them. Otherwise, it's just sad. Isn't it just sad, dude? And honestly, man, I don't want to leave it on such a negative note here. But that is where we're gonna leave it at for today's stream, you guys. Thank you everyone in the chat for stopping by and commenting. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Besides that, until next time, which will be this time next week, peace.